You may recognize this person here. This is Andy Edwards. We're in Abbey Road Studios. If you don't recognize Andy, he's got what I would call a music comedy channel.
That's not fair, Rick.
No, Andy has a serious music channel. He's a serious musician, drummer, guitarist, multi-instrumentalist. And he has a YouTube channel I've been watching for, I don't even know how long, a while.
Right from the start, you told me.
Yeah. I don't even know how long.
You said
how long
4,000 subscribers.
Yes. How many do you have now?
60,000.
Okay, subscribe to his channel before we even get started. You will not regret it. You're a humorist, though, in addition to being a serious musician.
I ain't got 5.5 million yet like you. I've got 60,000, but it's what I call esoteric YouTubing. Mm-hmm. If you're into esoteric YouTubing, I'm the guy. So, it's not for everybody. You've got to be a special sort of person to watch my channel. I think sophisticated, know your music. A lot of people who like rubbish music won't get the jokes, but you know about music, so you find it funny.
I do find it funny.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, when I started doing the channel, people said, we love it because you love the music. And when I'm talking about something I love it. And I think that's very important to be able to spread the love and the joy.
Absolutely.
But I thought, if I love stuff and I loved everything, right, people aren't going to trust me.
Right.
So I thought, who do I absolutely hate, right? What artists really I really despise, And so as well as when I'm talking about an artist I don't like, I say I don't like them. Mm-hmm. And that's it. I don't pull any punches, and it doesn't mean they're rubbish. They are rubbish, of course, but because I've got my superior sort of knowledge, not like yours, of course, but, I've got superior knowledge of music. I've studied it, done the jazz and the prog. And so I feel, that my opinion is quite important. So,
give me some people. Give us an example of some people that you really don't like.
Well, the thing is I suppose my arch nemesis is Van Morrison. Now, when I was a young lad, I can remember on the TV they had
Wait, hold on. Van Morrison or Neil Young?
Neil Young I brought Neil Young into the fold as well. I don't like Velvet Underground. Who else don't I like? There's a whole bunch of people. But Van Morrison's number one. Mm-hmm. Van Morrison's number one. But there's a whole history. I went on tour with Van Morrison. And he was I'll just say he was on yours. I'll just say he was grumpy. He was very grumpy. He was grumpy. There's no two ways about it. I think everyone knows that Van is a grumpy man, and I
think that's kind of known, right?
And I at the time I was playing with a singer you may know called Robert Plant. Not that I always mention this on every channel, but I did spend some time drumming for Robert Plant. And I said to Robert, he's a bit grumpy, isn't he, Van Morrison? I said, I'd rather have Van Halen. And that didn't go down well, So Robert then gave me a copy of Astral Weeks. I never listened to it. Well, the other day I thought, I'm going to do a video, as I say the other day, it was about 2 years ago. I thought, I'm going to listen to Astral Weeks, and I'm going to, now I'm older and more mature and can understand music, I'm really going to do an in-deep, listen to this album. And I put it on in the car. It's just awful. Have you heard it? I mean, what do you think about it? It's got Connie Kay on and all these jazz players. You'll love this, Andy, because it's got jazz players on it. Yeah, but it's just awful. And the thing with Van Morrison is, it's when he yelps. I'm quite a nervous person, and he makes me jump, Mm-hmm. That thing he does. So this I'm doing the shtick now. I mean, Van Morrison is a very important musician. He's like them. I love the early tracks he did that I can't remember now, like Baby Please Don't Go. I think he's great. He's got a great voice. Quite like Moon Dance. It's an album he did in the late 70s, funkier. I'm more voicing a sort of, I'm aware of certain opinions that musicians tend to have, that people my age tend to have. It's basically trying to say stuff that everyone says,
Okay, what about Angus Young?
I love AC/DC.
What's not to love?
Every album after For Those About to Rock. I can't help it. Come on, name one that's not Thunderstruck.
If you didn't hear that, the speakers just rumbled when Andy said that, and it was the gods.
It's the YouTube gods
ready to strike you down for saying anything bad after For Those About to Rock.
And the other day I thought, what's the worst AC/DC album? And I went on a few other YouTubers, and they said that Stiff Upper Lip was the worst AC/DC album. And so I put it on and listened to it, and I really liked it.
It's a great record.
Yeah. And so I think if that's the worst one... But see, I'm an old bloke, and people my age go, oh, AC/DC, they never did anything good after For Those About to Rock. And loads of people watching this will be going, Andy's right, you know. I was a bit let down by For Those About to Rock, to be honest, a little bit let down by it. You know, and so I'm aware of that. I could be objective. What do you want from AC/DC? You want them to do something else, a jazz funk album? What do you want from them? They're going to do what they do, and they do it really well.
That's right.
And so, so you know, in reality, I could be reasonable, but who wants to be reasonable on YouTube?
We had a conversation about Pat Metheny records, right? And you did it was a countdown video of the top, what was it, the top 10 Pat Metheny videos or something?
top 10 albums, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah. But I called you, I was like, well, you missed like the first 5 ones, which are the important ones, because he wouldn't even have made those other ones had those first ones not been successful. That's where he actually built his following and the people that really love what he does. And although you did have Bright Size Life on there.
Yeah, but even then, I'm not so keen on Bright Size Life.
Well, the first group album, the White Album as people call it, and well, Watercolors, and then the group album, those are really important records.
I started off doing top 10 videos. Mm-hmm. It was COVID, I was bored. Mm-hmm. I'm a massive fan of the Mahavishnu Orchestra. I thought I'll rank the Mahavishnu Orchestra albums, and I did it. And one of the guys who writes, I can't remember which one it was, he said, this is the best video on YouTube about the Mahavishnu Orchestra. That gave me a lot.
It was the only one, but but it was the best.
But out of the only ones there was another one, and mine was better than him. So... So I thought, this is fun. So I thought I'd do Weather Report. Now I'm a big fusion guy,
yes,
and I feel that the prog and fusion. I played a lot of progressive rock myself. Prog and fusion, the critics don't like it. It's not right. We need to lift up. People need to hear Yes and Genesis. They need to hear Pat Metheny, Mahavishnu Orchestra.
That's right.
So I started off championing that and being quite a serious channel, and you then get pushback, don't you? And everybody was going. They were acting like my lists were the platonic absolute list. Right. And I remember thinking, they're watching it for entertainment. You know, I mean, this is just, I'm going to say what I think my favourite ones. I'm going to argue it. In 2 years' time, I might do the same list. It will be different.
Of course.
And the whole point with music, and this is a profound point, and it's something I think is really important. You can be objective. You can say what you don't like and what you do like, but also it's subjective. It's not either or. It's somewhere in the middle. And so they were all complaining about it. And I did this YouTube video, and at the end, I didn't hit stop. I just went on a rant. And I really thought, and I almost wanted to annoy them, these sort of anal retentive types that had gone, you know. So I went on this long rant, and I was saying, you know, I bet these types, they got all their pants, or what do you call them, underpants. But the Americans have pants or trousers, aren't they? What do you call your
Nobody uses trousers, but yeah. Pants.
Your underpants.
Underwear.
Yeah, underwear.
Yeah.
I bet you've got them all colour coordinated in your little drawer. Then you got all your socks lined up. And then you go to all your records, and they're all in alphabetical order. And then I'm going, Andy, because I've got all these records behind me, are yours not in alphabetical order? I go, no, they're not in alphabetical. I'll just stick them in. They're random. And so this rant, the views went up. It was like the people liked me ranting. And then so I started doing that. And... I can go on and do what I think are the best 10 best jazz albums of all time. And a year later, I could do the same video and have different albums on, and I can't see a problem with that. So with Pat Metheny, I just haven't listened to those albums very
Of course. It was obvious that you hadn't listened to those albums.
Well, I can talk about them. I'm knowledgeable enough. Watercolor's got Eberhard Weber. They haven't got quite their sound. And then you get the White Album where they really consolidate their sound. They then, and it's a certain Americana mix with. So I could talk about those albums, and I know them, and I know what they sound like. But then on the other side, Off Ramp, it just went into here. It's
Off
like,
Ramp's amazing.
You know, that's the first one I bought.
But the pinnacle of that thing is the Travels record, which has all the early stuff and has the off-ramp songs like Are You Going With Me with better versions.
Well, you said that, and I thought Rick Beato's called me up, And obviously, him being a YouTube god, he's come down and told me that I've got to listen to Travels by Pat Metheny. So I went and bought it, and I put it in the car, and it's really, really good. And the solos are definitely more hotter. But there's a perfection about the Are You Going With Me on Off Ramp. There's like a dark, I can almost...
It has a very dark... Yeah. The album has a very dark feel to it.
And I
it
love
does.
it. Yeah.
It does.
And the fact that it then goes into... Is it the Bat?
The Bat, yeah. And the tune Off Ramp is amazing on there, too. I just love it. And it's very dark sounding.
Yeah.
And actually, the album cover really matches the feeling of the record, which I love.
See, I think the thing with art and music is it's a really valuable thing, and we have to value it. And the fact that we can have a conversation, right? Nobody is going to go that they're not going to say that Mini Vanilli is as good as the Beatles, right? Everybody knows.
Someone might say that.
Yeah, but they're a fool, and they have to be told it. I mean, because we know that there are things that are better than the other, but it's not like a truth better. It's more like it's about what's in our heart, and it's about what we love and what we don't love. I think that music's made out of love. I think it connects people. We had a very funny conversation outside because I took a lot of inspiration from you. I took the fact that a lot of things, but mainly your channel's called Rick Beato, which means you can do whatever you want. And I thought, Rick just does whatever he wants.
I do.
He gets up in the morning. If he wants to make a video about whatever he wants to make, he does. And I thought, that's what I want. And when you had Nuno Bettencourt on, I've been a fan of him for 30 years. And I thought, I love Nuno. And he's an incredible guitar player, but he knows how to do a rock guitar solo.
Absolutely.
And then he came back with that, what was it called, the album? Rise, is it?
Well, the song was Rise. It was a huge,
And I thought, he's come on, we've got Instagram, we've got all these guitarists sitting there, little nerdy, anal retentive site, and they've done the guitar so 300 million times, and they managed to get that, 8 bars of cool licks, and we're all supposed to go, yes, yes. Then Nuno walks out on a video, stands there looking like a rock god, even though he's like 80 years old or whatever. He does this guitar solo, and it was the drama of it. It's got that bit in where we all went, what's he doing? It had that in,
right?
But it was actually where he moves musically. It was like in the middle of a rock song. It was like the modern classical music, and the bit.
Oh,
when
yeah.
He just moves. And I thought, I've got to explain my love for Rick, and I've got to explain my love for Nuno. So I went on and did it, and it was a bit tongue in cheek, wasn't it? And although I was thinking, I hope Rick Beato doesn't watch this, inside there was a little bit of me who did. And you did, didn't you? You
did.
saw it.
Yeah.
And so even though you got the whole world out there, music, it brings us together. It brings us together. And even when you're saying you hate something, it's not like politics or anything. It's just, I can't stand Van Morrison. And it's Astral Weeks I can't stand. My mate came around and he said, you've got to listen to this Van Morrison album. So I thought, I'll do a video in the car. I do a lot of YouTube videoing in the car, You'd want to try that. It's really cool, that is.
In the first year of my channel, I start in the car a lot of videos.
It's like 2 birds with one stone, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm getting somewhere and I'm YouTubing. 2 birds with one stone. So I put this Van Morrison album on, and I had to pull over the car because I was going to vomit. I hated it. It's like, there's something about Van Morrison that I hate.
Okay, so when I would do my top 20 countdown lists, because I do top 10s, top 20s, there would always be an excuse to play an Alan Holdsworth solo or something. Like top 20 guitar solos. I'll do all the ones that people expect, but then at like number 3, I'll put something from a Tavakron or so, like
a jazz fusion pusher.
Yeah, I will do it, and really the whole video is
the heroine of. It's like the heroine of jazz.
I'll play, but the whole video will be to get people to watch that one Alan Holdsworth solo, so people though do appreciate it because it may be the first time that they ever hear Alan Holdsworth.
Yeah, and those people who do get it, it's worth reaching them. And the ones who don't get it, they're just
okay.
fools.
I'm gonna ask you something here. If you were to guess how many monthly listeners on Spotify Alan Holdsworth has, I don't know, but let's take a guess here.
There's you and me, so that's 2. Who else was probably listening to Gary Husband? Probably goes back and has a listen, doesn't he? See what he was doing. That's 3.
Yeah.
If I carry on like this, I might be able to get to a round figure of probably about 87. I don't know, what is it?
What do you think? No, seriously, what do you think it is?
100,000.
I'd say 40,000. and this is if it is, it's probably between 140,000. Let's look it up here. He's got check mark. 42,000, 42.8 thousand. That's ridiculous. That's outrageous. Honestly, that is outrageous. Alan Holdsworth, please, if you use Spotify, which I don't know why you would use Spotify, but I use Spotify. But Alan Holdsworth only has 42.8 thousand subscribers on their followers, and you should follow Alan because he's one of the most important guitar players of all time.
But the thing is, I think we're living in a culture where if you tell someone that you might have to put the headphones on and work at this, right, that you might not get Alan Holdsworth straight away. And you and me could explain why they're not going to get it straight away. Because for a start, you need to have some idea of being able to hear the chord changes as they're moving through.
Yep.
That's one thing. Second thing, there's a subtlety there, so that one solo is very different to another because of the intervallic choices he might make. But you have to work on that. And I understand people go, oh, that doesn't what make music good. Well, it is, because that stuff that music's made out of is intervals and notes and scales.
That's right.
And, it's great to listen to simple things, but sometimes you want to get your ears into it, and that's looked down upon. And then I think the music critics, they come from a literary background, and so they are more likely to push a Neil Young because of the lyrics, or a Lou Reed. And I've been trying, this is the serious bit, I've been trying to, push against that and go, you might like your Lou Reeds, but I like Genesis with Peter Gabriel, and I like Return to Forever, and this because it's musically more interesting. Now, having said that, this week I thought, I'm going to do a video on Lulu. It's got Metallica, it's got Lou Reed on it, it'll be bloody awful because it's got Lou Reed on it, and I'm going to call it This Is the Worst Album Ever Made. I thought, there we go. I'll just put the cover up. This is the worst album ever made. So I put it on. I put the headphones on. I start listening through the album, and I'm deeply moved by it. I'm deeply moved, and what it was that the sort of Lou Reed's very high art, very sort of New York sophisticated, that type of thing. Metallica are the band of the people. And they're the biggest band, despite what the critics said. They just sat there. Putting those two things together and hearing those visceral metal lyrics and then starting to get... And so I'll criticise Lou Reed, but this Lulu album has become my favourite Metallica album.
So, Andy, you were making a video. We were talking about this out there. And you're in the middle of a rant, and then all of a sudden your daughter kind of opens the door for a second, and you talk to her, and then you lose your train of thought, or did you lose your train of thought? But you didn't. But you didn't edit it, though. That was the thing that I thought was really funny.
But editing, it's a pain in the bum, really. Editing, because it's like you have to go home and put it into the thing. If I could just put I like to be able to get the memory card or whatever it is, stick it in the computer, and then just upload it. And when I started off, that was almost like, that's what you've got to do. It's got to be in camera. And what that does, I think, people then go, this is really happening. And I'm not sure about this bloke. Mm-hmm. Now, this comes from the fact that I was a teacher. And I'd have like 30 teenage musicians in front of me. Mm-hmm. And I realised to keep them under control, I had to be just that little bit that they did not quite know what I was going to do next, you see. And I like to have that in the videos, that people never quite know what's about to happen.
So when you started your channel, did you really say, I'm going to call this Andy Edwards because Rick Beato calls it Rick Beato?
Totally. That was exactly what happened.
Did you think that I put a lot of thought into that before I did it?
You'd said on a video that you'd done that you said you would actually explain that. And like when I set the channel up, the thing is, what no one seems to understand is the industry's there, but it's on YouTube, isn't it?
It is.
And the industry doesn't seem to be able to move over to where it's at.
Well, I think some people in the industry do. When you're talking about industry, you're talking about manufacturers and things like that.
And they're bands, it's like, I think if you're someone like, say, a Scott Henderson or a John Schofield, you're sat there going, oh, what the hell's all this? I mean, I don't know what to do, it's like, what can they do? They understand what they know, you're on a small label. That will, in the old days, they could probably sell around about the 50,000, 60,000, maybe 100,000.
I don't know how many records people sold. I know that Pat Metheny had a 500,000 selling record, a gold record back in the 80s, but I don't know what your typical fusion guitar player, jazz, it's like John Schofield would sell. But to your point, though.
Yeah, I was in a progressive rock band called IQ, and I played for them for a short while. I wasn't the main drummer, but I jumped in for about 4 or 5 years. They've been going for 40 years, right? They are on their own label, and they have a guy that works for them. And when I joined in 2005, I knew exactly what the sales were on those albums. It was around about 30,000. I knew the costs, and that enabled the band to pay the company to run the band, for everyone to get paid on the gigs and everyone to get a royalty payment off those albums. And I still get a royalty payment off those albums. But I came in 2005, and you saw it diminishing.
Yeah.
Right. And now that's not so much there. I don't think that's the same. Those bands had that you could survive with that. You could survive with that. Now, someone like the jazz guys, they could then get out and tour and just tour and tour around the world. They do these long tours. But I think that that has knocked the back out of it. And yet we've then had the Snarky Puppies and all these people come in who know how to work it. And they have been able to sell.
When you say know how to work it, they understand social media because they're younger.
If you say John Schofield, somebody like that, he's incredible. Now, he has cropped up on certain videos and he's done
I've had him on my channel.
And so, but I think the idea that the industry actually gets a hold of it and starts to go, right, we need to be there. Because I think what they're doing is they're seeing it as marketing rather than seeing it as being the actual place where they need to be.
So is it the labels? Is it the managers, the publicists? Who is it? Is it the artists themselves? Or
no, the artists. I mean, I was signed many a time in the old days. Nobody knows what the hell's going on when you got a deal. Nobody does. You sign a deal and you just go on, carry on. They say, can you turn up at this time? We're going on tour. Most people in bands don't know what the hell's going on. Some do. They're savvy, I suppose. There might be one person in the band. I never knew what was going on. I didn't know what I'd signed.
But kind of the importance or the way that music is discovered by people now is through, I guess, through algorithms, whether it's Spotify or through YouTube. People discover things through that.
But I think the problem is that they can't help but seeing the product as being the album. So they want to make an album. It's like they want to make an album. They want that to be at the centre of what they do. And then they want to go out and tour. And they still think that the tour is going to promote the album, which is not. So then they're going, well, maybe we could make some money on the tour, you see. So
so they don't... here's the thing. It's like people... Sometimes the jazz people will be like, well, when I make a record, I'll come on your channel. It's like, no, you should... come on anytime.
Yeah.
Because there is no that idea of promoting a record 3 months out, you're going to do this, You're going to do all your intervals. It's like that doesn't happen anymore. Yeah. You got to just do stuff whenever.
Totally. And this is the thing. I'll message someone saying, do you want to interview? And they said, yeah, but I want to do it in this time because we're doing an album. We've got this. Can you help me? And I'm thinking, just come on the channel.
Okay, so what should these jazz musicians be doing, or any musicians be doing?
Well, when Maury Taylor came on mine, he sat there and I said, I think Stefan Grappelli is one of the greatest jazz musicians of the 20th century. And he goes, yeah. He goes, he's underrated. I said, I really think he is. He's unbelievable. Mm-hmm. And he goes all the way. And we're having a proper talk about Stefan Grappelli. And I said, did Stefan ever say anything about Django Reinhardt to you? And he went, yeah. And I said, what? He goes, he said, Martin, you wouldn't have liked Django. He said, why? I would have loved him. No, you wouldn't have liked him. Why? He'd got smelly feet. And what I realised, you go, Stefan, it's his mate. They're in a band together. Right, they're on tour. Right. Django's great guy. But he did have smelly feet. And you realise, I mean, to us, he's like Django's close to God, isn't it? As a you can't even get your head around it, and to realise that it's real, and
real people.
Yeah, it's not just funny. It says something really powerful about music, that these people were real and they were playing and they were friends, Now, anyone in the UK will remember there was a TV show called Play Away. Do you remember Play Away? Play Away had a comedy trombone player called George Chisholm. Now, George Chisholm, before he went to the BBC and started doing all this kid stuff, was a jazz musician on the scene back in the 20s and 30s. And Martin told me that Django based his style on George Chisholm.
Okay.
So that comedy trombone player on that TV show in the UK in the 70s when I was growing up, Django's style's based upon that, which means there's a tiny bit of that DNA in every single guitar player that plays, isn't there?
Interesting, yeah.
And there's those sorts of things I find fascinating, you know, and I'm one of these guys that will sit up all night reading. Oh my God, and I love the way things cross over because I believe it's a message. I think music, if you understand it will bring so much good to you. So although I'm a negative, this is my spiel for doing all the negative and hate stuff. It's not really hate, it's just passion. That's what it is, passion. Might be libelous, but it's passion.
And how do you decide what you're going to make videos on? Do you do the same thing where you just wake up and it's like, I want to make a video on today?
I'll go to bed and I think I'm going to do a video on so-and-so. And so I'm working it out in my head and sometimes there's something I will think of that's very specific that I want to do. So yesterday, I wanted to do a video that was about how people are stupid and they don't like decent music and you're not allowed to say it. It's like, you can't say that. You can't say, well, you don't get it because you just don't know anything about music. And at the end of it, I got very angry. And the idea I thought, I'm going to get very angry and smash my studio up, which I did. I smashed the studio up. Mm-hmm. And then I thought at the end, because I've been exerting myself, I'll have a chest pains. And I died. I basically keeled over for a heart attack. And I thought, that's worth doing. It'll be an interesting video. All these old blokes going, music's not any good. Have you heard Cardi B? I mean, like, what the hell's that about? You know, all that thing. And you come on, you know, I'll be able to listen to Spotify. Oh, my God. And then you like everything, you know. If it was me, I'd be there going, bloody hell, what the hell's this about? What's going on here? You know, and so it's like, but I'm taking the mickey out of me and my age, you know. I know that. You see what I mean? So I get very angry at the end and die. And I thought that was worth doing. You must have ideas like that.
You know, well, I thought about that I would make this video about what people wish I would say about things, and then I would do that video.
You should do that.
But it would basically,
I'm like that with you.
But it would basically be one of your videos then.
But are you aware that everyone's going, come on, Rick? You're there going about Steely Dan, about that bloody 7 sus 4 6 over F thing. That, you know, you're all doing that. And then somebody's come on, and just because they've stuck a B minor in, you're going, oh, that's quite nice.
We're grading on a curve now. You know, so it's I try to find the positive in things, right? Because me being a producer.
That's what I love. I know. I thought he's a record producer.
I'm a record producer, and I talk about this sometimes. That there's records that I hate the music and I love the sound of it, and I will listen to it. There's a lot of records. I'll listen to a record because of the bass drum sound, and I just will marvel at it. There's records that I love. Ken Scott was just here, and he gets the most amazing bass drum sounds. But he makes records that I love the sound of. But my God, Billy Cobham's bass drum sound is just on any record that he did. Doesn't matter who he's with, his bass drum sounds are phenomenal.
Basically, the problem is, if we stand back and we're really objective about this, is there was a technology and it was a band in the room, isolated, someone on the other side of the wall, and they could make records, and it was a wonderful thing. Mm-hmm. And in the 1960s, they did it all together. That's now, right. That, every time things move on, you gain something and you lose something. And that Steely Dan, I know you love them, but that's ultra perfection Steely Dan thing in the late 70s sort of got away from the fact that a band can just record a track all together.
Okay, except for the fact that the guys can all play and they can all do one take and do the parts like that. And all the rhythm tracks.
Yeah.
If you listen to a song like Asia, the title track of the record, there are 4 people playing in the room. You got Steve Gadd, you got Chuck Rainey on the bass, you got Larry Carlton, and then you have Michael Amardian on the piano. That's the basic track. And then there's an overdub piano, electric piano. I think.
Have you interviewed all of them?
I've interviewed all of them. I have interviewed all of them.
I reckon you only
and
did this
you know what?
YouTube.
They all have a different recollection of it.
But my point
But
is,
I always
is
say that it's a combination.
But
of
all
them.
these things, whatever we're talking about, they are the technology at the time. That we look back at it and we all look at the rose tinted. Go, wasn't it great in the old days when everyone played real instruments? But if they could have done it with a machine back then, they would have.
That's right.
I did the 10 baddest ideas in music. I'd done one of these a couple of years ago, and it was much more normal. I talked about AI, and I thought, I'm not going to do it like that. It's going to be much more weird. So the first one was the Nazis. I blame the Nazis on the first one because they stopped live music in France. And then so the French started to play records, and that became acceptable that you could play records in venues. And they thought it was a bit like a library, so they didn't call it a bibliothèque, they called it a discotheque. And this idea that you could go out in the night and listen to records rather than a live band. So I got all these things. Well, Steely Dan's in there because I cannot believe this. They got Bernard Purdie, Steve Gadd, and they're there after Asia going, if only these guys could play perfect. Is there any way they could play perfect? Why don't we invent Wendell? Wendell. You know, Bernard Purdie. You don't need him anymore. We've got Wendell. Bloody Wendell. I mean, what were they thinking?
Right.
What do you think to Wendell? If you don't know what Wendell is, it's a drum machine. They invented a drum machine. Was it full of range of frequencies? So
yeah. Right.
Yeah. Why? Because they wanted it to be Bernard Purdie. They make mistakes. Oh, get somebody else in. It's not we need somebody else in. Go and get somebody else. Have you got any other drummers?
You get a sense of it if you watch the making of Asia, that record that they did, or the video they did, the classic albums video. You get the sense listening to them talk that they were kind of perfectionists.
It killed music. when there's a balance. Asia's an incredible album, and it's the mixture of that. They're pushing for something. It's also there's this very sort of dark beatnik lyrical thing going on there, which takes it away from just sounding like a Larry Carlton album with some vocals on it.
Yeah.
And also they present. I mean, the thing we got about the Steve Gadd solo on Asia, but it's Wayne Shorter's going for it.
Oh my God!
On almost like a pop album.
Amazing.
And so. And I said to you this on the phone, I said, this magical period for production, which is between 76 and 79, where you've still got people playing live, and you were going on about the fact that the equipment was actually, they nailed it, and it was all new, and everything sounded warm and lovely, and there's a balance there, which is incredible. But the thing is, they would have, if they had...
Pro Tools.
Yeah, and these,
and they could edit it. They would have edited it to death
right from the beginning, and they would have kicked out the wrecking crew and gone and pressed a button.
That's right.
So the thing is that we forget we're looking back at a period of time where the rock band in a studio was the technology. Now, my father-in-law, that's what I was going to say, my wife's dad. For those of you who don't know what a father-in-law is, my father-in-law was a singer, and he was signed to Decca in 1959, and he recorded here in the big room.
Here being Abbey Road Studios.
Abbey Road, you know, and I've been walking around, and there's a picture of the Shadows on the wall, and I photographed it and sent to my wife because Brian Bennett and Licorice Locking were played in his band. But he would turn up here, one of those Neumanns that sat in the foyer. He would have sat there with an orchestra in front of it, and they would have done it in one take. And there would have been arrangers, and there would have been people copyists. There would have been loads of musicians, and they must have looked at the Beatles and the Stones and gone, "Oh my God, what's this? Right. We used to do it like this, and now we
used to do it live."
Yeah, we used to do it like we'd read music. We had beautiful arrangements, you know, and it's true. As I get older, I'm going back to quite middle of the road records, like I'm put on a Barbra Streisand album or something like that, and I'm listening to it going, my God, these are the best people in the world behind this. And you look at the lineup, Jeff Porcaro, but the string arrangements,
amazing,
unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so I could actually see both sides of it. Is that the pop music that is around today is exactly what you have to have today. And the kids don't go back and go, well, where's, you know, a bit of slap bass would be good on this, and maybe, you know, a nice Purdie shuffle would do, you know, but for us at our age, we know that we're losing something that is absolutely incredible.
Do you think that because of the internet and streaming and things like that, that it doesn't matter because people kids, for example, my kids can listen to anything. They don't care when something came out. To them, it's all a thing that came out, in the 1980s or that came out today. They can be on the same playlist and they'll listen to it. If they enjoy it, they enjoy it.
Everyone still listens to older music.
That's right.
People listen to more older music, It's not as simple as downloading happened and streaming's happened. It's much more about a cultural change and the values changing. And I think really fundamentally, the problem that's happened is this idea that there's no quality. It's this idea that, well, if I like it, it's got to be going, I like it, and if you like it, it's good, Whereas for me, I can remember becoming a bit of a Fusion fan and going out and buying Bitches Brew by Miles Davis, taking it home and going, I don't get this. This is nonsense. What the hell's going on? Then looking at the lineup and thinking, well, Joe Zawinul's on it, John McLaughlin's on it. They're all good players. They wouldn't be doing this. And I worked and listened
to it over and over and over until you got it.
And also, I'd pick up my guitar, I'd try and play what they were playing, I'd try and pick out chords, and everything that. I was a musician, so I was trying to learn how to play. Talking about Ken Scott, who you've interviewed before me, Celestial Terrestrial Commuters on Birds of Fires in 1916. When I first heard that, I thought they're going wrong.
It's amazing.
They're going wrong.
Right.
What's going? Billy Cobham's a good drummer. Why does he keep?
He keeps losing the beat.
And I've got to be honest. It wasn't that tune. I'm making the story simple. It was Flash Flood off Crosswinds, which I believe is another Ken Scott.
Yeah,
incredible drum sound.
It is.
And that was in 1716. Well, me working out that, which took about 2 months, because I wasn't going, what's the time signature? I was going, what is going on?
Right.
And in the end, my mum and dad, because mum and dads would have stuff like this in the 70s, they got one of those things that you count a crowd with, those things, like mum and dad.
Yeah, the counter.
The counter, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Dad, have you got one of those things that you count?
Good old analog counter.
Yeah. I don't know what my dad had.
They used to do it at clubs when people would come in to know how many people walked through the door.
But my dad never did that, so why he got one, I don't know. Dad, why have you got one of those? Well, you never know. I might have to count a crowd or something, or I might have to count some bricks. So I got this counter, put on Flash Flood, and went. And then when he came round, I'd look. He goes, 17, 17, and that was how I worked it out. I got to be honest.
That's actually pretty smart.
Well, I wanted to know.
I like that.
If you want to know,
yeah.
When my channel got up and going.
And by the way, Andy is an excellent drummer too. You can count these things out.
Yeah, I could do all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I can do all the metric modulation stuff. Vinny was my hero, and Terry Bozzio and Billy Cobham. But my favourite drummer is Narada Michael Walden, who played drums on an album called Visions of the Emerald Beyond, which Ken Scott also
that's right.
Also engineered. And my love of Narada on the channel in the early days was such.
And his drum sound on that record is amazing too.
One of the greatest drum sounds ever.
Phenomenal drum sound.
But the thing, my love of that, I heard Narada Michael Walden on Lead Boots on Jeff Beck in about 1983. I was 15 years old. That was how I wanted to sound. And I cannot believe when the YouTube got off the ground that, again, like I've got in contact with you, Narada, like someone sent me a message, says, Narada's out in California, wants to talk to you. And I couldn't believe it. It eventually rings me up. And Narada coming on the channel and championing it, but also ringing me up and just filling me up with the positivity. He's such an incredible musician. It's more than just chops. He's just so full of a life force that is so powerful, and he's so playful. It's incredible, and he really inspired me to get up and do what I've been doing and to carry on with it. And he rang me up and I said, I was going through a bad time. I'd lost my job. I didn't know what I was going to do. I never thought I was going to become a YouTuber. And he went, you're already sorted. He said, you're fine. And so there's something about all this that I really want to communicate to people. I'm sure you've had this whole life doing production, playing in bands, teaching and all this. And then at a certain age, you do this channel and it reaches out to people, doesn't it? All continually. It's an incredible thing. And it's not us, is it? It's the music, isn't it?
It's the music.
It's the music.
Yeah. Of course, you have to be able to convey your enthusiasm for it. And you have to be able to convey it through a camera, which is, I think, natural for you. That's why when I started watching you, the algorithm sent me to you, And I was like, who is this guy? And then I was like, oh, he's hilarious.
I can't believe I'm here doing this. I mean, this is nuts. To me, this is nuts. At some point, I mean, you might not put it on. You might go around and say, bloody terrible that was. But
I'm putting it on. Of
You
course
see-
I'm putting it on.
do you know, it's like vindication for me. You know, when you're a musician, I mean, we want to be positive.
I mean, I'm really...
But it's like vindication. This is like vindication. All you who doubted me, all you sacked me, didn't want me in your band, thought I was too arrogant and big-headed. My arrogance and big-headed's paid off.
Let's count down your top 5 drummers of all time.
Right, Michael Walden,
Okay.
number 1.
Wait, if you can't do a countdown, you don't
That's how
start
you
with
do.
number 1.
When you do a countdown, you start with number 1.
No, you start with number 5 and you count down.
But
So
I
people
can't
will
work
wait.
it out like that. When if I was doing it on a thing, I'd start with number 1. If you want me to do it live,
No, you got to do it. You got to start with number 5.
well, I'm gonna have to work it out first. So just bear with me and keep this bit in. I am going to go in this order with Steve Gadd at 5,
Okay.
Vinny at 4, Terry Bozzio at 3,
You're failing already, but that's okay.
Billy Cobham at 2,
Okay.
and Leonardo Michael Walden at 1.
That's
Rock drummers are a different thing.
That's a pretty good list. That's a few, but I would say it's top 5 fusion thing guys.
I am a fusion guy through and through. But I love John Bonham, obviously. I love Stuart Copeland, massive influence on my playing. Police were the first band I love. Motorhead and the Police were the first band I love. I really love Mick Fleetwood's playing.
Mick Fleet was amazing.
He makes incredible, a great feel, but also incredible choices.
Yes, and it really underrated.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like I'm always like, when's he going to bring the drums in? It's like, you know, and then it's on Tusk, he brings the drums in and it's almost like, goes, nah, not there, and just stops again. And I love all that. And Nick Mason's another drummer who's less chopsy that I absolutely love. I mean, that touch and the drum sound is just so beautiful.
So, Andy, if I were to tell people, give me 2 of your videos that people should watch.
My favourite video is a really low quality one that I did in the early days, right?
I thought they were all low.
No, this was super low quality. Yeah, my production values are pretty low. I was saying to your guys, they're all talking about the expensive cameras and all the stuff they're doing. And I'm saying, I've tried now. But when I raise it, they all go, what are you doing, Andy? I had a proper microphone the other day, and they go, what are you doing? Anyway.
I expect the lo-fi. Like, I would be disappointed.
Yeah.
I understand what they're saying about it.
So anyway, going back to the thing, there was one where I go through my love of Louis Armstrong, who is the most important musician of the 20th century. And it's so full of love. And I know those scratchy recordings are hard for people to get. But I felt I did a good job of actually explaining what Louis is doing. And so you go, whoa, he just invented that. He's invented that now. So that's a great one. And anything that's got worst in the title. So if you want to see the comedy ones, like the worst singers or the worst, most overrated bands, you'll find them.
Those are my favorite
They're the
ones.
ones that everybody loves. And that's it, really. I mean... but I do lots of things. Sometimes just have musicians in there playing. Sometimes I do a philosophy Sunday where I get really heavy and talk about aesthetics and stuff like this. And there's very serious videos. I mean, I do a video every day.
You do.
See, so it's a lot of work, but I want it to be almost like a television channel. I think people get home from work. I'm always on at 6 o'clock in the UK. I don't know what time that is in every rest place. And they put it on, and my video's an hour long, right? They're an hour long, and there's one up every day. So the production values have to be bad.
Yeah.
I had a guy contact me, and he was a big fan of the channel. And he said, I was sat there watching a video, and he said, my wife came in, and she said, why the hell are you watching that? And the reason she said that was because I was doing a top 10. And you put the little album cover in the corner. Mm-hmm. Well, I dropped 2 album covers in, and I'd forgot to put them into the corner. So when I was talking about this album, the album cover was just over my face for 10 minutes straight. And she said, what are you watching this for? She goes, and he went, oh, no, I love it. I think people, they want to see something real. And they want to see something real. That's what everyone wants to see.
I have some videos that I did in 2020. I had a period where I did, by accident, I had some really well color graded ones. And then all of a sudden, I must have had some preset or something. Then I had some videos that were magenta. I mean, and you look at them, you're like, What was I wearing sunglasses doing this or something? It was so badly edited and everything.
Oh, when I lost my job, the channel wasn't monetized, and I went through I was doing YouTube videos every day, and I was just looking at the views. It was just something to do. But when you go back to those videos, they're so dark. I was going, that looks fun. So I have a funny view on all of this. You see, I really believe that when you're doing art, part of it is your idea of what you want to do, but also I believe the universe comes chiming in, and it's actually trying to balance those two things. Now, the way this happened was, I was doing a YouTube video in my garage, chatting away, and I look over, and there's a great big spider walking up the wall. So I switched the camera off, and I got a mop, because I don't like spiders, and I got rid of the spider. Then I sat down, I thought, what the hell did you just do that for? That's way better than what I'm talking about, bloody, Stanley Clarke album from 1978 or something. And they wanted to see the big spider. Why did I not? I should have left that
That's
in,
right.
and
Well,
I
you
deleted
learned.
it and started again.
Yeah.
And I suddenly thought, whatever comes in, whatever goes wrong, that it's not actually going wrong. It
just becomes part of the whole thing.
And I think it's like jazz. It's what we love about music. It's being on the knife edge between what you can do and your intention, and what's happening around you. And if you just, go, well, I'm just going to accept that. Whatever happens, I'm going to accept. If one of these lights were to fall down and smash now, if there's people watching it going, this is all right, that bloke's a bit weird. It's all right. Bloody hell, do you see that? The light, that would be interesting, wouldn't it?
My biggest video, which has 20-something million views, is so dark. It's my top 20 acoustic guitar intros of all time. It is so dark. You literally can. It looks like my head's just floating there with the guitar in front of me.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Nobody cares.
I do try to make them look good now. I've got a studio and I've got my lights, and I try and get I do it all on the iPhone. I brought proper cameras in. I've done all this, but I don't think it's what YouTube's about. It's nice to have it. Well, now I've been on here, maybe I'll get a few more subscribers, and maybe there'll be a bit more money, and I can have minions like you. I mean, you've got minions, so you'll have a laugh at me. But if it were just back to you having to do everything, I bet you'd make a few cock-ups and have a few, if you have to do it all yourself like me.
Of course, I did it all myself for many years.
So if I get minions, then I will expect the production values to come right up.
This is Andy Edwards. Subscribe to his channel, Andy.
Yes, Rick Beato likes my channel, and you like Rick Beato. So that means you have to now go over to my channel and watch the videos and like them and subscribe.
And comment too.
And comment too. And I will, unlike Rick, will answer back for the moment.
Yes, you will.
But if the Rick magic works and he sticks a few 20 or 30,000 subscribers on, I'm not going to do it anymore.
You're going to get to that. You're going to get the 100,000 thing. You get your plaque.
You said little plaque, didn't you? Because you've got the million one, haven't you?
I just got my second channel just hit 1 million, and today I got the email to order the plaque.
When I get that plaque, it's going to be a video. It's going to be 20 minutes long. It's just going to be me running through the forest.
Okay,
with the plaque.
I'll just tell you this: when I did my 100,000 plaque video, I did an unboxing, and I on a live stream, and I lifted it up, and it showed my address, and I realized it, and then I took the video down immediately.
Yes,
but when I opened up the lid of the box, and there it was.
You have to think like things like that, don't you? Because all the weirdos that are out there.
That's right.
The weirdos. But yes, it has been an incredible experience coming on your channel.
Thank you, Andy.
Did I do good?
You did great.
Did I do all right?
You did great.
I did all my shtick, didn't I?
You did.